Good morning. I'm Sister Ester Rasband of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. I love the story told by a Catholic priest, whose name I can't remember, about a man who was taken on a guided tour of heaven and hell. He was taken to hell first, and he was amazed to find it a large banquet of wonderful and beautiful things to eat. But the people sat hungry and desperate in the midst of the plenty. His guide explained, "This food can only be eaten with very long-handled spoons, and it is impossible to get it into their mouths." The man turned his head away in pain rather than watch such frustration and hopelessness. Next came heaven, and he was again surprised. He found that the banquet there was identical to the one below. Here, however, everyone was happy and well fed. Again, his guide explained, "These people, too, have only long-handled spoons that would make it impossible to feed themselves. But they have learned that the utensil works very well to feed each other." This little parable does indeed show the difference between our earthly heavens and hells. If we would have a heaven on earth, we need to learn to feed each other. Often, we are in situations where we cannot control whether or not we receive the food we need. But we can notice the needs of those around us and get busy and fill them. If you would have the satisfied, well-fed peace of a heaven on earth, accept someone else's goals as your own and work as hard as you can for them. When you do that, a little miracle happens. Somehow, you too are fed. The principle has been called the Christian paradox. Only when we lose ourselves do we find ourselves. If the task sounds too formidable to break the cycle of unmet needs, remember that you do not have to grow instantly into major charitable projects. Begin by just giving a smile or a listening ear to someone in your family or maybe in your place of business. Then work up into helping them achieve something they dearly want. Life is full of long-handled spoons. When you feel frustrated and hopeless, remember the battle cry that Alexander Dumas gave to his 3 musketeers. All for one and one for all. That is our device.
(632-6015). There'll be an exhibition of paintings by Mary S. Martin of the Brome County Museum, Knowlton, Quebec. That starts June 24th, goes to the 2nd of July, 10 in the morning till 5 p.m. daily. 70 new paintings in both oil and watercolors will be on display. For more information, area code 514-243-0130. A note from the Atwater Library, they'll be closed June 24th, June 25th, also the 26th, that's for the St. Jean-Baptiste holiday, and also the 1st and 2nd and 3rd of July for the Canada Day holiday. St. Willibard's Church Verdun is holding a flea market this Saturday, starts at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 325 Willibard Avenue. A tea room will provide refreshments and bargains await all. Montreal English Cursillo will celebrate their 25th anniversary June 24th with a day-long event including a Eucharistic celebration, dinner, and entertainment. Details 437-7169. Here's that address again to write if you'd like us to mention something for your community happening, but be early. It's Community Events, CBC, Box 6000, Montreal, Quebec, H3C 3A8. Repeating, that's Community Events, CBC Box 6000, Montreal, Quebec, H3C 3A8. The Hudson Garden Club will hold a floral design show titled Emotions, June 24th and 25th in St. James Church Hall, 642 Main Road. An exhibition titled Black Women, When and Where We Enter, featuring works in all media by 12 black lady artists, will be presented June 24th to July 23rd at the Articule Gallery, 4060 Saint Laurent Boulevard, 842-9686 for more information. Opera Canada Playhouse will present Midnight Madness, a romantic comedy by Canadian playwright Dave Carley, June 24th to July 26th in Altsville Hall, Cornwall, Ontario. Information, call 937-4590 in Cornwall. And that's just about all the time we have for Community Notes at this time. We'll be back with more. Right now, here's our thought for today.
Good morning. I'm Sister Ester Rasband of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. I love the 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians, where the Apostle Paul talks about what is truly important. Charity, real love, he says, is the only thing that never fails. He talks about children who can only really guess at what it's like to be grown up. They see through a glass darkly, he says. But then, when manhood comes, they see themselves face to face. What they really are shows. As Paul said it, "But then shall I know even as I am known." How fortunate we are to have the Scriptures. In a way, they take the dark glasses off for us. They tell us the secrets of becoming somebody we will enjoy seeing face to face. As we get older, there are a lot of things we wish we had known before. Things that would have made it easier to look at ourselves through a clear glass now. Sometimes I look back and make lists of what I wish I'd learned back there on the other side of the dark glass. I wish I'd developed more of the self-discipline of being obedient to small things and learned to live with more exactness, because proper habits seem all important now. I wish I'd learned very young to understand the full meaning of honesty and all its implications, because self-respect is fast becoming my most valued possession. And truth is more than just accurate communication. I'm glad that I learned early to have faith in Jesus Christ, because I love having the comfort now of knowing my place in the world and my potential. I'm glad I had Paul and the other writers in the Scriptures who could tell me what would be important to me before it was possible for me to know. Because when I have followed the advice of prophets, I have no regrets. There are still so many things I see through a glass darkly, but I know that if I develop the true love that Paul talks about, I will not be ashamed to know as I am known. It is said that we often fail to do the important things because we are too busy doing urgent things. My prayer for you today is that you find a little corner of time to do something important, something that will make it a little more pleasant when you see yourself face to face.
Good morning. And welcome to another day of programming from CBC6 Montreal, owned and operated by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Our studios are located in the Maison de Radio-Canada, Dorchester Boulevard East in Montreal, with antenna on Mount Royal. CBC6 programs are also seen in
Thought for today.
Hello, I'm Sister Ester Rasband of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. It's interesting to me how much we all crave beauty in our lives and the lengths we'll go to make it part of us. If we have one coin, the Koran says, we will spend it not on bread, but on a hyacinth to feed our souls. I think sometimes our physical eyes are confused about what beauty is, and we might end up spending that coin on something that we believe to be beautiful, only to have our spirits recognize that it is not beautiful at all. Our spirits, which must be fed on beauty, cannot live peacefully with ugliness, and so a turmoil is set up inside of us that can only be reconciled by getting rid of the ugliness that we took in by mistake and replacing it with something beautiful, food for the soul. It's significant that man's beginning was in a place of beauty. We think of the Garden of Eden as a place more beautiful than mortals can comprehend. But not so. We can have a kind of Eden here and now. All we need to do is to purge ourselves of ugliness and let our souls feed on beauty. Mark Twain understood that we are capable of living in beauty. When he described how Adam felt about Eve, he said, "Where she was, there was Eden." I wonder if perhaps Adam, in Twain's story, had discovered an Eden more beautiful than the garden itself, loving and being loved. In the Book of Mormon, we have the story of a dream that the prophet Lehi had, a dream where he discovered a beautiful tree that bore the most pure and delicious fruit. The fruit of that tree was the love of God, and Lehi immediately recognized it as the beauty that he craved for himself and for his family. He called it the tree of life. It's true that we live in a world where there is death, but we don't have to be dead. The reason our souls crave beauty, the reason we would spend our one coin on a hyacinth, is that all beauty ultimately comes from the love of God. And without the love of God in our lives, we are dead. But our souls recognize the difference, and the turmoil inside will tell us when we have mistakenly taken in some ugliness. If your soul is telling you that its search for beauty has not been satisfied, start now to fill your soul with love for others and from others. The beauty of the Garden of Eden is still available to us. Lehi said that the path to the tree of life is surrounded by mist, but that there is an iron rod that will get you there. That rod is the Word of God, in which His love and His commandments are communicated to us. The Word of God will lead us through the mist to the beauty of the love of God. And that beauty is the tree of life. Ultimately, all of us have only one coin. Spend it on true beauty. Your soul knows the difference.
The time, 15.5 minutes before 9 o'clock. Now, let's check the program log and
push the ball after their opponent scores and force the action. That's the two main reasons. Edwards. And Grant and Corzine sandwiching him, and Edwards now with 6.